Welcome to a brand new episode of the Marketing, Business and Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Witnish. Today we tackle the pillar of marketing and how to market without advertising, an intriguing topic and often overlooked because marketing, let's face it, is very confusing in the current state of the social world, the online sphere. There's so much emerging technology, there's so many social platforms, there's so many different forms of content that you can produce and so many different forms of strategy. So where do you even begin? And if you're not experienced or marketing isn't something that is your native genius and you're a professional in another area, I can understand how overwhelming the conversation can get, and knowing the first thing to do or the next thing to do becomes seemingly impossible. So I want to dispel some of the myths and give some practical steps that you can lean upon at any stage you want to market your business and find some new client opportunities. And the first thing I want to put on the agenda is understanding who spends the most money with your business. And if you're not at that stage where you're taking clients yet, who in your mind would be that dream client or customer. So the most profit, the easiest to deal with, the most referrals, the longest lifetime client relationship. Think about who that is in your business, because ultimately we want to design a marketing strategy that caters to them and attracts more of those clients in. It's the best way to ensure that you get the maximum ROI on every client that comes into your business and the maximum joy. Because if you go out to the market sphere online with a very wide net and you're appealing broadly to anyone, you're going to get a very massive pool of leads, engagement, and opportunities, and it can take up a lot of your time just filtering through. And you can have lots of conversations and find that they're not a match, and that's a lot of cost that's invested in time, in labor, if you're paying people to have those conversations. So how do we increase efficiency and get in front of the people that are going to convert much higher and also be the best to work with? So this is what we're going to reverse engineer in today's episode, with a few things that are a little bit broader but can have immediate impacts and results. So grab a pen and start listing down the qualities of your best clients. What are their traits, familiarities? What do they all have in common? And we can start painting a picture of what this avatar looks like to move forward with some of the strategies we're going to cover here today. Now, if I rewind back to 2014, I was having a conversation with a man by the name of Adam, and he had a startup, and he asked a very fair question, which was, how do I get a client? And I said to Adam, well, I'm going to do something in the next 24 hours that I want you to do as well. And this is exactly where I'd start if I needed to get a client in the next 24 hours. And what I proceeded to do was take a post that I'd written. It was 1 to 2 sentences long. In fact, you can still find it on my Facebook timeline if you go back to, I think it was August or September 2014. And I said, I'm going to go and just post an offer that solves a problem to my Facebook network. And that offer was, does anyone need a website that gets clients? And that was all I posted. And that was just to my Facebook network. And that post proceeded to pick up, I think it was either 5 or 6 clients from my immediate network who said, absolutely, yes, I am looking for a website. How can you help? So whatever problem you solve, and like I said, doesn't matter if you're starting out in business right now, you could have been running for 20 years, be having incredible top line numbers. I want you to do the exact same thing. Go to your Facebook timeline, your LinkedIn, go to your phone contacts, go to your email contacts, and simply write, hey, is anyone looking to solve XYZ problem? Or does anyone need XYZ outcome? Whatever it is that your business delivers, the solution that it provides. And just post it, because people in your immediate network already know who you are. They already trust you, and they may also know someone else that they can introduce to you and pass over for that specific outcome that you've posted on your timeline. Why go out to the wider marketplace and start marketing to a cold audience when there's your immediate network that you haven't even asked if they're looking for a solution to a problem yet? So anytime you're not sure of the next step when it comes to marketing, do this first. Write down, is anyone looking for XYZ, or is anyone looking to solve XYZ problem? And just see if any hands go up. The worst thing that can happen is no one responds and nothing happens from it. Best case scenario is someone says, yeah, I'm looking to solve that problem. And you get someone that is much more likely to move forward with the solution than a cold prospect that's in front of you. Now, if you build up some contacts over the years, through your networks, and you might have them in your Gmail, you might have them in your phone. You can go ahead and just shoot that out as an email to everyone. Hey, everyone, we're just releasing this new offer. Is anyone looking to solve XYZ problem? If you are, just come back to me with a yes and I'll be in touch. So you can do that through your email contacts, even if you've just got a Gmail account. Scroll through your phone, look through anyone in your different social networks and just see if there's anyone in there that you feel would be a good fit for that solution. And there's a tool called SMS Broadcast. So for Australians, and a lot of you tuning in early on to this show will be here in Australia, there would be, all you need to do is Google SMSing software or text messaging software if you want to do this strategy. If you've got a lot of contacts and you want to send out, say, hundreds of SMSs at once, that's a shortcut to do that. And in 2015, when we had our office in Little Collins Street, we were sitting down and we had a database of, say, 5,000 people for our education company at that point in time, which sold diplomas. And we're like, oh, what's the next step for us to sort of bring in some yeses and get some hands up? And we arrived at that conclusion that we had all these mobile phone numbers. We'll use that software and we'll send it out to our database of non-clients to say, is anyone looking for XYZ? And we did that and we got 115 yeses flood in, sending that message out, which was more than we could manage. And we actually had to hire someone to come in and help us respond to them over the preceding days. So sometimes it's the simple things that can actually get you the next result or outcome in your business. So if you're ever not sure of the next step in the marketing process, just post that to your immediate network, people that already know you. Do something like the SMS broadcast strategy, look at your email contacts and just send it out in a nice casual way, because more often than not, even if someone isn't looking to solve that problem, they may know someone else that is and get that introduction through a trusted mutual point of contact. So that's strategy number one, and try it out right now. Like I said, action is really important, and I'd love for you to listen into this show and actually get some tangible results to report back to us in the process. And if you do get wins, please let us know. So that's the first point, or the first strategy to start executing on from today's episode. The second thing I'm going to say is very similar, but it's for referrals. So you could go to any one of your existing clients that you know loves the product, loves the service, and just see if they know anyone else in their network that would also like to benefit from the same experience they've been having. So be strategic about this. You know who is a great client and a great customer, and just see, again, if they've got one or two people in mind that they can introduce you to. So it's much easier to do these steps than go out to the wider marketing strategies, which is why I want to keep it nice and simple in this initial conversation before we get into the more complex stuff. Now, again, if you don't have existing clients or a client base, you can go to people in your network that you have a strong relationship with, that know your capabilities. If you're stepping into a product, service, or solution, they'll know that you'll be able to deliver, and do the same thing. Go, hey, do you know we're about to launch XYZ? Do you know anyone in your network that might benefit from that solution? So again, we're using two very simple strategies: going to our immediate network and then going to our trusted network to get some potential referrals. Do those two things, and more often than not, you'd be surprised at the client opportunities that you can open up through those two simple steps alone. So that's your next process, and you can follow the same action items that I mentioned with the first phase, which is you can post out for referrals. If you don't want to do step number one, say, hey, we're about to launch X. Do you know anyone in your network that might be looking to solve XYZ problem? If they do, just send them our way. We'd love to see if we can help them out. So very basic things to get the ball rolling. Now, strategy number 3. There are influencers, there are businesses, there are people out there that already have access to your dream clients, that have built up the audience, have built up the trust transference that you can leverage. So you have the ability to create a win-win relationship with these people and get introduced and access to these potential clients through that medium. And nothing's better than if your product or service complements what they do. So it's an add-on, or it creates more value. It's complementary. So for example, a mortgage broker and a conveyancer, they're two hand in hand in the process of acquiring a property. Let's say someone had a nutrition and supplement store and a gym. Us, we're a marketing agency. We could certainly, and we do go through this approach with accounting firms that take care of business owners' financials and know that many of those business owners are looking for help and support with their marketing. So who or what type of business, what industry, what type of role would have access to your existing clients? Now, I'm going to walk you through something that you can do to actually find these opportunities very quickly using the LinkedIn platform. So let's use the hypothetical example of the mortgage broker and the conveyancer relationship. So if I go to LinkedIn and I'm a mortgage broker, I can type in conveyancer into the little search box up in the top left. Then when I hit search, there'll be a filters option. And what I can do is I can put in my location. So my service area as a mortgage broker, my locale. I can choose the industry that conveyancing falls into. And then I can put in owner. And that'll bring up the local conveyancing company owners. And they'll all come up for me in a list on LinkedIn. So immediately I can start connecting with these conveyancers as an example through the LinkedIn network, and literally have hundreds of potential joint venture partners. The next step is approaching your joint venture partner with a win-win scenario. So if you went to them and said, hey, we're looking for a local conveyancer that does great work that we can refer our clients to, would you be open to having a quick chat to see if that's something that would be a match? You send that message to a business owner and saying that you're going to send clients to them, they're going to respond to that message 9 times out of 10. And in the same breath, you formulate that relationship, and people that are looking for finance or looking for solutions, they can refer onto you. So it's just looking at what relationship can there be a mutual benefit where everyone wins, the client wins, my partner wins in the joint venture, and it's seamless and it's complementary and it enhances the process that client would be going on with that particular solution that they're looking for. So who do you already know that you might be able to joint venture and partner with that has access to your clients, and just put them in a spreadsheet and then reach out and say, hey, how you going? Just want to see if there was an opportunity to collaborate in a mutually beneficial way. If that's someone that you know, then that's a completely fine message to send. If you don't know them and they're someone that you don't have an existing relationship with, just go rewind back to that process I mentioned earlier, which is connect with them on LinkedIn, come at it with a win-win angle. Hey, we're going to send you more business, or we're going to give you free service, or we're going to give you a referral fee, a commission, any benefit that's going to be attractive to them to get access to their client base in a beneficial way, and leverage on the trust transference that they've already built, and also enhancing that particular client's experience. Just one of these relationships could open up a new revenue stream for your business that costs $0 in marketing, that transforms your business and the cash flow moving forward. So always have the joint venture strategy front of mind. It could be collaborating with someone that is an influencer that has a massive audience and following in your niche, and contributing in the form of content and jumping on their podcast or creating videos for them that they can share with their audience to add value and enhance their experience. So just think of the many different angles and ways that you can partner with someone, add more value to their life, get some wins for them. And in doing so, you'll get access to a whole new audience, a whole new client network that can then be a lot more qualified and a lot more ready to engage your services, because they're getting introduced by that trusted advisor that they've already worked with. So you'll give a much higher conversion rate. So we've got 3 really powerful strategies that I've covered so far in today's episode. Make sure that you're not just listening, you're also taking notes so you can go ahead and action them straight away. So one is just asking your existing network if anyone's looking to solve a specific problem that you solve with your product or service. The next one is going to your existing clients, asking for referrals, the ones that have had success, if they know anyone else looking to solve the same problem. Number 3 is joint ventures. The 4th strategy that we're going to cover is the content aspect. And this is where it can start to get a little bit confusing with all the social platforms out there and all the different styles of content available. But to enhance your ability to convert sales and to increase trust in your marketplace, you need to have a content footprint. If I went and Googled or went to a social platform and search your name or your business on those platforms, what would I find? Would I see something that increases my desire to transact with your business, or would it decrease? So by having nothing there, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you won't know the sales and opportunities that you're missing at the moment. If you're doing this powerfully and someone goes to your platforms, they go to Google and they see a whole lot of helpful content that adds value, give social proof where they can see your capabilities and you can solve their problems, that's only going to make sales 10 times easier and do a lot of unconscious selling before someone has a conversation with your team or they're at the checkout cart at a website. So what I'm going to suggest is to start the content process, if you're not doing this already, is set yourself a very simple routine. And that might just be posting once a week to begin with, something that there's no excuses for not doing. It's like every Tuesday, 8 a.m., we post across the social platforms that we have a presence on. Now, which platforms should you be on? Consider which platform has the attention of your ideal clients. So if you're in an agency space like ours, where our clients are business owners, obviously LinkedIn is a great platform to do that. If you're in a visually aesthetic space where you're going to be showcasing a lot of what your products do and clients want to see what that looks like, you might be looking at Instagram, TikTok, platforms like Facebook. So it's also having an understanding of where's the primary platform to post on. Now, you can post the same piece of content across several platforms. There's nothing wrong with that, but understand which one should be your primary focus so you can get in front of your ideal clients where they're spending their time and where you're going to get their attention. So sit down and go, okay, what formula for content is going to work best for me? Is it batching, where I sit down and I construct the whole month's worth of content? So it might be 4 posts in one sitting, so it's done, and I schedule it to go out, so it's a set and forget strategy. Or you might want to be more spontaneous and say, hey, every at 7 a.m. at this time every week, I write the post that's going out across our social on XYZ platform this week. Just put some structure to it so it actually gets done. If you say I'm going to do it, but you don't put a deadline and some framework around it, it'll get pushed back because naturally there are probably other priorities on your list if you're a business owner. Now, the other option is, of course, to delegate the responsibility to a team member in your company who's happy to own that side of the business, or of course engage another service provider or employ someone that can do it. So you've got many different routes there. But if I was going to say there's one thing that's going to have a residual compounding impact on your business when it comes to marketing, it is a content strategy, because very few consumers moving forward are going to go to anywhere else but their devices to look for the solutions, and they're going to check you out. They're going to do their research. Now, either you're the one that looks like the obvious choice or it's a competitor right now. So if you don't start building a footprint, and it's okay to start with no followers and no reach, just having that there so when people do search and see a trail is going to have a major impact. There's a little formula to consider each time you put a piece of content together. I call it the Revs Formula. So R is for relevant, E is for entertaining, V is for value, and S is for social proof. And you only need to have one of those elements in the content to increase your chances of getting great engagement and interaction. So R, the relevance, is making sure it's relevant to your dream client. I mean, you can share generic things that are very broad and might appeal to the wider marketplace, but if it's not relevant to your dream client, you're not going to really get their attention and attract them in. E is entertaining. So what format of content can you add humor in, intrigue, curiosity, variety to keep it entertaining and not be one size fits all the time? That'll retain their attention and get them involved in actually reading through or watching the content piece. Number 3 is value. So if you're educating your marketplace and you're solving problems before they've even transacted with you and leaving them better than they were before they came across your post, you are going to take over that niche with time, I promise you. If people are getting more value from your content than they're getting from other people's paid solutions, you will dominate with the compounding effect of posting over a long period of time. And the S is social proof. So that's client wins, customer wins, you utilizing the product, you showcasing the journey and what you do, leadership behind the scenes of your business, just letting people peer under the hood and see that it works. So they then know, hey, your solutions, I've seen them work for other people. I've seen them working behind the scenes in your company. I now trust that those solutions can work for me. So the Revs Formula is really powerful when you go to create a piece of content. Now, to find content ideas, there's a little trick. Take a keyword and just go to Google and type it in. So let's say you're in the gym space and you want to target weight loss clients. If you type in weight loss, Google's going to list 14 or so search terms that people are active looking for on Google. So you know that's relevant content that people actually want access to. So each time you take a keyword, you're going to get content ideas without having to rack your brain to come up with what can you make a great video or a great post about. Which leads me to the next point. What form of content should you utilize if you're just starting out, just get in the habit of doing content. What's the path of least resistance? Is it simply just writing a post with an image and getting it up just to get the ball rolling? Now, if you use video, it has a much stronger impact. It's a lot more of an attract and repel strategy is what I like to call it, because it's your face, it's your voice, or someone inside the company on camera. So it increases the number of modalities that get involved. When you can see, hear all those other moving parts, it's much more real, it's a much more transparent, it condenses time as to whether or not they like your brand than if they're just reading a post and they can't draw other conclusions. So if you want to have a stronger impact and you want people to get familiar with your company and the people inside it and the personality of it, video is going to achieve that much faster, but it also might put some people off, and you've got to be okay with that. The minute you put your name and face out there, that's going to have people judging, and they're going to draw conclusions from what you say, what you wear, what you look like, what you sound like. So be okay with that experience as well, because if you stick at that long term, it can have a tremendous effect. Now, when it comes to getting rapid results with content, there are content formats that even if you have no followers, you have no reach, can get really fast traction. And one of those is doing 60 or second or less video clips and uploading them as TikToks, uploading them as Reels on Instagram and also on Facebook and YouTube as shorts. So one video, one effort can get really great organic traction, usually within 24 to 48 hours, and then the run's over on those platforms. So they're very fast burning pieces of content, and you have to keep showing up and doing them consistently, because like I said, the life cycle of that content is very short, but it's how a lot of the marketplace is consuming right now, 60-second or less video clips with the short attention span. So if you do that, you can get some fast traction quick, but it also might not be a fit or relevant for the type of client that you're looking to attract as well. So there are other forms of content which are valuable posts, which go into depth and again solve problems for your target audience. They could be longer form videos where you have a much deeper conversation, and they're going to be more long-term strategies where you're not probably going to get heaps of traction organically if you don't have a pre-existing audience as fast, but they can achieve results like SEO searches and coming up on YouTube results and continue to generate traffic well into the future after they've had a time to settle in to those different platforms that you've posted on. But if we were to take one thing away from the content process, is keep it simple. If you haven't got started yet, one post, pick one platform, pick one time a week that you're going to do it, and then build over time once you've got in the rhythm of doing that one post. Like I said, you can get someone else in your team to do it. You can hire an external party. You can employ someone if that's not something that you want to do. But you need to have that footprint, because if someone's looking to transact with you, the difference between them buying or going to a competitor could be what they see online. And if they don't like what they see or they can't find anything, it's going to raise doubt, which means they're going to be less confident about their purchasing decision. So these are the 4 marketing strategies that cost $0. There may be some labor and time investment involved in that, but you can do this at any stage in your business journey. And I wanted to give them to you because there's no excuse to not get started with at least these initial strategies to get the ball rolling in your company, regardless of where you're starting from. So again, if you're taking away the action plan, go post the problem that you solve across all the different places and channels where you have an existing network and just see if any hands go up. Number 2, ask for referrals from your existing client base, from your existing network, to see if they can introduce or open a pathway to someone that is looking for that solution. Number 3 is joint ventures. Find someone else that has your target client base, create a win-win scenario where it's mutually beneficial, there's no conflict of interest, and tee up that relationship and tee up multiple relationships if you can as well. And number 4 is start your content journey, or upgrade and enhance it if you're not being consistent with it. You do those 4 things and you've got some very strong foundations and different channels to start bringing in some prospects and clients without going into a hell of a lot of effort and getting into more complex strategies like advertising and things that require more technical aspects of marketing. So that's it for today for marketing strategies that require $0 in advertising. Now, if this was helpful for you, as you know, we're a new podcast, we're just launching the show. We'd love it if you followed, and also if you left a review, if this was helpful. A positive review is really going to help us boost the audience. We'll be coming to you with a couple of episodes a week at this stage, so it's going to be frequent. There will be guests. We have one in the bank from earlier today with an Olympian, which I'm very excited, who's also a businessman. We have a self-made millionaire coming on to an episode next week in their 20s. So we're going to get some great guests in that are experts in the areas of either marketing, business, or wealth to share their journey, to give you strategies, pass on the lessons that they've learned so you don't have to make the same mistakes, and condense time for you so you can get to outcomes much faster. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and whatever platform that you're accessing this from, just make sure you're following along so you catch everything that we drop. If you want to get in touch with me, Aaron Witnish, I'm pretty easy to find. There's not too many Aaron Witnishes out there. I'm on most social channels. You can usually find me pretty easily. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it and can't wait to come to you again with a brand new episode in the next few days.